Running across the pitch. Run about 30 metres across the pitch at 75 to 80% effort, and then jog the rest of the way. Make sure you keep your upper body straight, your knees, hips and feet should be aligned. Then jog back to the starting point at an easy pace. Do this exercise twice. Running bounding. Take a few warm-up steps, then 6 to 8 bounding steps with a high knee lift. Then jog the rest of the way. With each bound, try to lift the knee of the leading leg as high as possible and swing the opposite arm across the body. Jog back at an easy pace to recover. Do this exercise twice. Running, plant and cut. Jog 4 to 5 steps straight ahead, then plant on the right leg and cut to change direction to the left and accelerate again. Sprint for 5 to 7 steps at about 80 to 90% of maximum pace. Then decelerate and plant on the left foot and cut to change direction to the right. Don't let your knees buckle inwards. Repeat the exercise until you reach the other side of the pitch. Then jog back and repeat a second time.
Ai, ko ia rā ia, ko te iri, ko te urunga tū, ko te urunga pai, ko te urunga mā tike tike, ko te urunga mā ranga ranga, e hika mā matike, maranga and morena. Welcome to the 2020 Bunnings Warehouse Junior National Touch Championship. We have our first final of the day coming up between Auckland and Manawatu in the under-16 mixed grade. Ko te aorere pē whairangi tōku ingoa, and I'm fortunate to be joined in the commentary box by Sean Brown, ex-New Zealand Open mixed captain, gold medalist in South Africa in 2007. And a little fun fact about him, his older brother is one of the refs in this game, so he not only brings a wealth of touch knowledge to our commentary today, but also brings one or two one-liners. B-man, no mai.
Kia ora no tātou katoa, and tēnā koe te aorere pē whairangi. Hey, look, absolute pleasure to be here. Firstly, I just wanted to give a shout out to all the whānau at home who are watching their tamariki from Manawatu and Auckland. I'm really excited to be here, in particular with the mixed grade. I've been lucky to be watching over the whole weekend, and the two teams that are in there are most definitely deserved finalists, with Manawatu and also Auckland. So kia ora te ao, how's things been for you?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been amazing over the last 3 days, and this is what we've all been waiting for. This is the culmination not only of the past 3 days, but months and months of mahi leading up. So I'd like to give a shout out not only to the players taking the field today, but also their whānaus and the management and staff that have got these two teams to this big stage.
Kia ora koe. And so I just wanted to give a bit of an insight into some of the key players that are going to be influential in this final. For Auckland, number 2, Mr. Davids, number 10, and number 8. They've been having an outstanding tournament thus far. And Manawatu are quite a dark horse coming through, beating some good teams, beating Te Tai Tokiro in the semi. But what I like about Manawatu is that they have a whānau type of base value. And so they play quite a hard, quite an intense style. So I'm looking at how that gets on today.
All right, as we see both teams taking the field for this final. Auckland in the blue, running from left to right. They will be attacking first. This final is officiated by Adrian Brown, Joachim Wanihi, Benjamin Matthews, all level 3 badge referees. So we have no shortage of talent and experience out there in the referees.
Yeah, that's right, Te Aorere. We're really lucky and fortunate that we have some experienced referees today who play a big part, especially in playoff touch. With the ones that we have on today, are experienced, and I'm sure they'll officiate a good game today.
Absolutely, and we see the crowds starting to roll in for this first final. Manawatu supporters who were knocked out early here right across the park, watching and supporting this Manawatu side, but it is Auckland who will tap the ball off and will look to go down this left side, take a couple yards, make it down to the 5, look to run an early striking play. They're running this backdoor on the mismatch on the right there. They've come back to this right-hand side. Easy as that, B-man.
Oh, and that was a beautiful touchdown in the corner. And like I said a little earlier, the 3 attacking weapons that were on for Auckland have been strike all weekend. And so a great little play, left to right pass with a touchdown in the corner.
So Manawatu, their first chance with the ball here, looking to make their way down the field, and we see both teams incorporating their gills into their yards pattern. First dump on the 5 here. They're looking to go to this mismatch. Coming back to the left-hand side, but the defense of number 13 for Auckland. Nanua was up to the plate.
And that's a great first defensive set by Auckland with a quick turnover. And they're getting stuck into the yards through the field.
Tamaki here, looking to bring some fresh legs on. I look to spread the field here before coming back to the middle. Hopefully set up for a nice scooping play. You see, number 9 coming off the left foot. He's found the gap. Another left to right. Unfortunately, number 15, Te Aroha Kukutai Wairaua, couldn't take that pass.
Yeah, that's right. The effort was there, and it was a great scoop through. Unfortunate that the pass couldn't find the mark.
Promising signs shown by this Auckland side early on, as we see Manawatu yet to really get into this game. Have some subbers coming on now in the form of number 8, Caleb Burton. Some nice yards there, and they'll look to finish off and kill this play on the far end. The second best thing to scoring a try is to kill the ball on the far end of the field, B-man.
Oh, look, you're definitely right there. And that's been a strength of Manawatu throughout this tournament, is their completion sets. They have a good yardage game, and they've got a bit of speed throughout the middle area. So for them to turn the momentum, they have to keep up that part of the game.
Nice yards here by this team from Tāmaki Makaurau. Little fumble in the rock there. And a penalty is given to this Auckland team. So they'll look for this 33 plate. Nice little right foot. Touch was called.
We have number 7 and number 10, Dylan and Zachariah, on the ball, who have been crafty attackers. So it looks like they're identifying the mismatch, trying to create an opportunity here.
So Tāmaki will run this 33 plate, finding a lot of space down on this right-hand side. And as you can see, the wind is coming across the face of the field. So they're utilizing that left to right wind. Manawatu now working their way up the field. Some good yards being eaten up by the Gills. Bring on their fresh legs. And we've seen a lot of consistency, B-Man, over the tournament, with the referees pulling a big 5, really opening up the game.
You're right there, and that's important for these players to experience bigger 5s with the potential of the rule changing down the line to 7 meters. And so it's something that the coaches and the players need to be aware of to get back their distance on defense. So Manawatu here, a little bit under pressure.
Nice little right foot step there. Unfortunately, the last pass couldn't be taken. So Manawatu left off the hook there a bit as they look to make their way down the sideline. Bring on some fresh legs.
And fresh legs we do have coming on for Manawatu. And just for the audience, I understand, Te Aorere, that you grew up in Manawatu and that's where your touch had started.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to not sound biased in this commentary. But yeah, grew up in the Manawatu. So when I take off my commentary hat, I will be supporting the green and white out there. Tamaki Makaurau making their way up the field. And we'll see these little errors start to creep in as fatigue sets in towards the end of this first half. The momentum has been with this Auckland side in these early minutes. But Manawatu are hot on the attack here. They're in their green zone. Haven't had too many opportunities down this end of the field, but they'll come to the right. Nice little drink there. Just a bit congested down that right-hand side, but this is smart by Manawatu, knowing they won't be scoring a try, so they kill the ball far from this Auckland sub-box, making them work.
And at the moment, it's been a little bit of an arm wrestle through the field. Teams are still figuring each other out.
So, Tamaki Makaurau look to go down this short side with a backdoor play, but the defence of Manawatu was up to it.
Yes, that's right. And number 8, Caleb, and number 12, Braxton, for Manawatu, have definitely been workhorses over the weekend. And for those who are tuning in, and this may be the first time you've watched Touch, the tournament is across 3 days. For these kids, 3 to 4 games a day. And so when you're talking about fatigue and conditioning, those are huge factors coming into playoffs. And so those who have done their mahi, which it looks like both teams have, it's going to be a huge factor, Te Aorere.
Absolutely. No doubt. You've had your fair share of finals, B-Man. And you do get up for this last game.
Yes, you sure do. You sure do. And sometimes it comes down to who wants it the most, and sometimes what you're motivated by. I'm sure some of these kids are motivated by their families, by their provinces, by the iwi, by the community. And so sometimes just a little ticker goes a long way to helping you out during these finals matches.
Absolutely. As we see this Auckland team spreading the ball, opening up this Manawatu defence. We've seen the eyes up footy pay dividends over the weekend. Unfortunately, Auckland not controlling the ball well that time. Good defence here by Auckland, sending one flyer up to make this touch. Manawatu struggling to get out of their half in their Yari sets. But they'll set up for a scoop here on touch 4. Nice positive drive there. Right foot step. Mismatch out here, 2-on-1. He cuts back in, and the defence of Auckland was up to it. B-Man, that could be the spark Manawatu needed.
Oh, look, they got an opportunity here in the first half, which they have had a few. And so it's important that they capitalise, take their time, and try and make it count.
Good consistency out there by the referees. They are calling those positive touches. It's more of a push at this point. Manawatu looking at these 3-3 plays at the moment. Low risk plays towards the back end of the set. They'll look to bring in some high risk plays. Second phase here. Nice little pop in. But a good touch by Auckland.
It was a good touch, and that was great defense. However, I did like the variation in attack that Manawatu brought out there. Early in the piece, they went to the quickie game with the two boys. However, they created a mismatch with the female coming in. And as you would know, Te Aorere with the mixed game, those that can manipulate and use their females wisely is definitely a strength to the team.
Absolutely, and Auckland welcoming Manawatu back into their green zone here. And you mentioned fitness, B-Man. Using a lot less when you're incorporating the gills, but a nice 3-3 play there. Manawatu making it look easy.
Oh, look, that is definitely a captain's leadership play with Kristen and Aku in the middle to pull their team back 1-0.
One apiece final, one touchdown each between this mixed final between the Mighty Manawatu and Tamaki Makaurau Auckland.
So with 4 minutes to game, it's been a seesaw type of game where no one's actually taking advantage, but Manawatu and the coach will be happy with that to tie it up one apiece.
Auckland here with their set move. Nice little pop and an easy try there for Dylan Menzies.
It's a try time to
That's the second time Auckland scoring
scoring
off their tapping set. So their starter moves are working well for them at the moment.
Yes, and that was a great step back play by Edmonds. And for Auckland to strike immediately after a touchdown, the coach would be happy with that one. But Manawatu have an opportunity here before the half to try and tie the ball game up.
Look to run this backdoor play. Scoop, nice short ball there by Mariah Graham. Good to see our girls getting involved in the middle. Manawatu looking to kill the ball on that far side again. Forcing Auckland to use 3 or 4 touches before they make it to the sub box. Nice passing out wide here, but Auckland are penalised. Touch and pass is the call. So with just over 2 minutes to go, Manawatu have one more, could be one more attacking set in this final. Oh, and it's an easy dive out, but an even better touch by our number 13 in the link there, Nanua.
Captain Kristen Tonga almost going in with the quickie step back play with the pass given by Caden Manuel.
Auckland defence solid in this first half. They'll look to control this set and get to their final play. Making their way up the field now. Dictating the pace of the game at the moment, Auckland. They're not putting pressure on themselves. They're not rushing anything. Setting up for this 5th touch and a nice little goose step there by the number 9. Easy pop out to his mate. And Auckland take the lead 3 points to 1 just before the half.
Oh, look, that was a great scoop by Declan Murphy, taking the outside, and which is something that he's been doing all tournament.
Takes our score. It's 3-1, folks. Auckland up by 2. The score right now is 3-1.
So Manawatu will be aware of the time. It's running out in this first half. Their coach, Matthew Tonga, will be happy if they hit back right before the half. Here's this tuck line, a nice left, right to left. Took the ball, but unfortunately dropped it on the way down. Jemima Henare.
Oh, look, and there was a great eyes-up play, and there was a nice pass. Unfortunate to put it down, but hey, look, there might be the type of game plan that the coach is looking for to try and go over top to create some opportunities.
Absolutely, both teams are finding space out wide. Touches made. So B-Man, an exciting first half in this under-16s mixed final.
Oh, look, it has been. I see Manawa 2. The coach, I'm sure he'd be still happy with that half, creating, not getting many opportunities, but to manage to take one back, the score being 3-1.
3-1 to
However, Auckland are looking quite dominant in the early stages.
Auckland up by 2 at the split. It's 3-1.
So Manawa 2 are going to have to work hard in the second half to take the opportunities and grind their way back into this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we take a break, joining us in the commentary box
this live grand final streaming
is our stalwart of the touch community. Also likes a one-liner, Georgie Yonke. Welcome. No mai hoa.
Kia ora, Mr. Peter Whairangi and Mr. Brown. You guys are doing a great job out there. The energy is strong. I'm having trouble hearing the commentary because the support on the sideline's been awesome. Pat Spellman's doing his magic on the mic, keeping us updated with the scores. Hey, loving this game, loving the energy, and loving the game of Auckland taking on Manawa 2. How are you feeling about it, boys?
Oh, look, it's been an exciting half. Early in the piece, I'm really excited to see Manawa 2 up at this level. A few years ago, Manawa 2 were really strong in the mixed game with some of the legends. Obviously, the one that's next to me, and Georgie Yonke, representing Manawa 2 back in the day. But there's also a legend out there in Charlene Bannister, who would highly likely be one of the top mixed players in the game, who's come back to give back in the referee capacity.
Yeah, Kapai boys, it's a great game, and it's good to see Manawa 2 in there, getting the Central Region. You like the Central Region boys being on show here in the finals?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the Manawa 2 show in the sub box here. We have 3 former Manawa 2 representatives, but we'll try sit on the fence and have a bit of mihi to both sides. But yeah, good start here by Auckland, coming away with it. 3-1 lead at the half. I think the difference in that first half was possession and ball control and capitalising on mistakes.
Yeah, that's right. And Georgie, just coming back to you, being an ex-Touch Blacks mixed player, obviously successful in your day, what does Manawa 2 have to do to try and peg their way back into this game?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's a hard one out there, and it's been a battle of the grind and who's going to win the orange zone. So they're getting completions rate pretty good there. They need some nice finishes on the end. It was good to see a couple of change-ups in the 5-metre zone, which was awesome. And as you said, T, in regards to Auckland, it's been the show of the tap-offs, mate. Starter moves galore, doing the business there. So Manawa 2, show some stuff in the 5-metre line, because through the field it's been outstanding.
As we see Manawa 2 touch through here. You're liking this boat, bringing the gill involved, creating a mismatch. They go for the dingo here, but the ref has blown his whistle. I'm not too sure what that was for. Oh, Manawa 2 get a repeat set. And their first set of the second half here.
It's great defense at the moment. We have our 2 captains in Manawa 2 trying to peg one back in. But one thing I do think they got to improve in is their skills in the contact area.
Yeah, we saw Manawa 2 run this second phase play off the back door here, hitting that chopper for the second phase. But the Tāmaki Makaurau side has shut it down twice.
Yeah, great set of D by Auckland there. There was some potent attack by Manawatu, but Auckland were equal to answer the questions there on defence. T, you talked about the potency of Auckland on attack. We've had some showstoppers by number 1, 7 and 14. I guess they'll be still doing their stuff in the second half. Who did you like in the first half, and who do you think will be coming to the party from the Manawatu team?
Yeah, I like in the mixed game, it's usually the boys who are in the middle running the show, but I like the look of number 11, Mariah Graham. She's really been getting herself involved and has brought a lot of confidence into the middle. As we see her take the ball up now. Unfortunately, Manawatu making an error there, inviting Auckland. Manawatu need to be careful here not to let Auckland slip away. And as I say that, Auckland strike back through number 5.
The first points in the
Quinn.
second half of this final. It's a touchdown.
Made
to
it look easy,
Auckland.
B-Man.
They're up 4-1, folks.
Oh, look, there was a tough early mistake in the set by Manawatu, and Auckland didn't make them pay with a touchdown.
So Manawatu now looking to make their way up the field.
There it goes again. A couple of uncharacteristic mistakes from Manawatu. A few nerves coming into the start of this first half. There's still a lot of time in this game, and I'm sure they can bring it back there. They were close, but no cigar on the defensive line there. Yeah, hopefully they don't have cigars. They're under 18, so it's a non-smoking event as well.
So Tāmaki Makaurau well in control of this game. Mentioned before the confidence that they're bringing, the eyes up footy that they're playing. No doubt both these sides would have come in with game plans, set plays, set moves, but sometimes just looking up and seeing what the defence is presenting to you can pay dividends. As we see, nice hands, nice quick hands by this Auckland team. Unfortunately, Emerson Garrett couldn't pull that last pass in.
Yeah, as I've been on the sideline in the first half watching box side for Auckland, I noticed the Riley Williams has been a showstopper, a man that's always been on the ball and creating. Like that time there, he puts his hand on the ball one more time and almost scores in the corner there. Watch out for that man for the rest of the second half.
Absolutely. This Auckland side stacked with strikers and attackers. And there was a cheeky little foot in that ruck, inviting Manawatu with a repeat set. So Manawatu will look to capitalise here.
And we see tactically, defensively on the line, Auckland have run what you call a mad dog defence with the male link that comes up to try and put pressure on the ball.
It's good proactive defence by this Auckland side. Some teams are more reactive in their defence, but this Auckland team is really confident and is showing Manawatu. It's not really giving Manawatu any options on attack as they make their way down the sideline.
Now, one of the things I do like about mixed touch in particular when you compare it to other sports is that we have the female and the male on the same field, being able to compete as teammates.
And that could be the difference in the long run, B-Man. This Auckland side really getting their girls involved, not only in that link position, but their wingers as well. You talked about fitness and the grueling 3 days both these sides have had to go through. 74 teams at this national competition here at Bruce Pulman Park, Papakura in South Auckland. As we see the top 2 teams of this under-16 grade. Thought there may have been another cheeky hand in that one, Georgie.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Auckland have been training hard, and I think they've been training hard in the gym as well, because there's some bench presses out there. They've been putting some good touches and getting away with it. As we know, as the older you get, the contact gets a little bit stronger in this game, so you have to be strong in the ruck and make sure you put a good ball down. Be ready for a little bit of a push. There's some good guys out there with some big arms, so watch out for that.
And talking about big arms in Auckland, I see our commentator here, Te Ao Rere Pe Whairangi, has been taking on some of those values up here in Auckland.
I tell you what, they learn from the best, and I've seen the growth in arms in this area since you've moved up here, T. You've added that to the training program of yesteryear when you were in New Zealand, showing them what your benefits were on and off the field.
Make sure to incorporate a couple bicep curls at the end of every training. As we see, Auckland heading back again, taking the lead out 5-1. B-Man making it look easy again.
Oh, look, that was a great dive from Te Aroha, Kukutai Wairawa. She's been very vocal and very busy throughout the couple days. Shows a lot of leadership skills, but I'm sure she'll be happy with putting that down.
Absolutely, and a lot of players in this final putting their hand up for higher honours. As we know, this junior competition is a pathway for many of these young players to show their talents and to work towards those higher honours in the black jersey. So we see Auckland, good yards, being chewed up by the number 8, Riley Williams. We talked about big arms and the physical maturity of some of these Auckland players.
And talking about some of the New Zealand pathways that we have moving forward, obviously there's a few opportunities coming up in the future there, Georgie, for some of these players.
Yeah, it's a big one. This is a big event for the 18s and 16s. They'll be selecting a 16s tour team to go to Australia in the mixed boys and girls. That'll be going early next year or mid next year. And also they'll be looking at 18 squads to trial out to represent us in the World Cup. And in the latest news, it could be over in Europe, but hold the press on that one. Don't say I said anything, but I don't know if it's released, so I won't say any more. It's going to be exciting times, expensive times, but one of the best family trips you could take.
Absolutely. B-Man mentioning earlier that touch is a whānau sport. So these players getting their whānaus involved, parents taking them to trainings, picking them up from training, managers, coaching staff, will make it possible for these young kids to shine on this national stage. As we see a nice scoop here by the Auckland team. And an early long ball there, Shawnee. I think he could have taken a few more steps there.
Yeah, might have been the wrong opportunity that he took there. But however, they get an opportunity to defend them and keep Manawatu down this end of the field. But being a whānau sport, you're right there, Te Ao Rere. Involving all the families, and I'm sure all the families watching at home will be excited to watch their kids on the screen.
Absolutely. As we see Manawatu making their way up the field. It's been the Tāmaki Makaurau show in the second half, but Manawatu are rewarded for some hard yards. We see that often, Georgie, if they are doing well in their yards, they often rewarded towards the back end there.
Definitely. I don't know what happened, but that's exactly the kick Manawatu needed. Come in driving hard. There was an excellent drive into play. Got them on the front foot, getting them to the right part of the field. But unfortunately, just a little fumble in that one, losing the ball. But they're in the right part of the field. They need to kick into gear here now. Coming down to the last 5 minutes of the game, they need to dig deep. And Auckland doing mistakes like this is going to help the cause for Manawatu.
Absolutely. This could be the spark the Manawatu side needed as they make their way towards their 5, towards their green zone. Looking at these 3-3 plays, a bit static at the moment. They go to this 32, a looping play. And just a little error down the left side there, B-Man.
Yeah, unfortunate for Manawatu that they put the ball down. And sometimes in these finals football games, it does come down to experience. And obviously up here in Auckland, they have a great program with the touch that these kids get to play. And so I'm sure the Manawatu, although a little bit down, they'll be proud of making this final. Maybe a bit disappointed how they've played so far. But the experience for them to play at this level, they're going to go home
Hey Brownie, the game's not over yet. They can still come back and put some justice into this game. We'll take our hats off to Manawatu. They put in a valiant effort. It's been a hard road to this grand final here. Going into a drop-off shootout, dropping numbers in players on the field in the semi-final. So they had to dig deep here, and I think that might have taken some fuel out of the tank. But see what they have for the last 3.5 minutes in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And for most of these players, you did mention B-Man, this will be their first time on the national stage. They would have grown up in the younger grades at the local IPS tournaments. For most of these under 16 players, getting this experience on the national stage is invaluable. As we see, Tāmaki Makaurau still making their way up the field here. Just under 4 minutes to play. Playing with confidence now. Have a nice buffer. 4-point lead with a backdoor play here. As we see, time has stopped here on our television. So it'll be around 2 minutes left to play here, B-Man.
Yes, we've got a couple of minutes to finish off, and I'm sure Manawatu will be trying to finish off strong. One thing I've been really impressed with is their effort. And as Georgie said, in the semi-final, they did go to a drop-off against Te Tai Tokido, so that may have taken out a bit of gas. But it hasn't taken away any mana or effort that they've played with today.
Talking of money and effort, those are two beautiful drives, getting them down to the right end of the field. I can see something coming here on the back foot. There's a hole, there's an opportunity, looking wide. Ball going to ground. A team that's usually clinical throughout this tournament, showing their prowess on the field, have not brought it to the final, but they have still done their family proud to get here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Not only hard mahi over the last 3 days of competition, but the many hours and days and weeks and months of training leading up. We see both teams showing up to this final in good nick. Fitness has not been an issue for either team. So we see Auckland still making their way up the field. And I'd like to mention how the big fives these refs are pulling, as we see Riley Williams just stroll over for his second of the day.
Oh, look, Riley Williams has had an amazing tournament. One thing I like about him is he has a big engine, nice and fit, nice and strong. And he's been outstanding the whole tournament.
Here at the Bunnings 2020 National Junior.
You caught it well there. Riley, the man, Williams, has been on fire just with the simple show and go with toe to burn. Gets over the touchdown line to seal this game, put it in the back pocket, and send the paycheck.
Manawatu look to close this game out by hitting back. Yet to score in the second half. A nice little bouncing play here, out to the right. But the defence of the Auckland line is up to it.
Yeah, nice bit of footwork and equally beautifully on defence. And there goes the hooter. What a game, what a final for Auckland. They've done the damage. They've been awesome all tournament and showing their class, and I'm sure it'll show in the result and also selection system. Sean Brown.
Oh, look, it's been an amazing weekend. We've had some fantastic skills in the under-16 mixed grade. But my hat does go off to Auckland, who played an outstanding final. But in the same tone, Manawatu can be absolutely proud about coming to the final and competing and coming away with the silver medal.
Yeah, absolutely. A huge mihi to Manawatu. Putting up a good fight in this final. But, like you said, we do take our hat off to the 2020 Bunnings Warehouse Under 16 Mixed Championship, Tāmaki Makaurau.